from the campus of Westfield State University. This is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Noble Hospital, a brand new name for a Westfield institution which is improving the health of our community every day with quality and compassion. Noble Hospital and Bay State Health, better together. Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Dental. Comprehensive dentistry at 14 convenient locations in Springfield, Chicopee, Longmeadow, West Springfield, Belchertown, East Longmeadow, Ludlow, Northampton, Greenfield, and Wilbraham, as well as 29 Broad Street in Westfield. Bay State Dental makes it a priority to help you achieve and maintain the healthy smile you deserve. On the web at baystatedental.com.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:03. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses. It is Wednesday, March 27th. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host. I'm in studio this morning with a very clean-shaven head, Pete Coles. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning.
So, what did you do this weekend? Because last week your hair was green and it was lush and beautiful. It looked like the grasses of Ireland. And this week we have no green hair.
St. Baldrick's happened is what happened.
So tell us about St. Baldrick's.
It was actually a really great event. It's held up at the Hangar in Amherst. So this year, instead of bands, they kept the arcade open, which the kids were happy about.
I bet.
Ton of raffles, and they had 11 women get shaved.
Now, what would be like an average for women getting shaved? Is that above average? Is that kind of a record for?
I think that was high. I think it was a lot of them were a family thing.
Wow.
Around one family, something was going on with cancer in one family, and a lot of the women and wives and stuff like that of the kids and the guys. Guy had a beard shave that was 6 inches long at least. And
wow.
So it was a whole family, and it was pretty packed. I mean, they were shaving all afternoon. They only had 3 barbers, so it was kind of like a long waiting, a little bit more than normal.
Okay.
And but they were fast.
Okay.
And myself
zip.
and John Malo, Rick Barry's girlfriend's son, got shaved together. He's been doing it for 9 years, and now I'm 11 years. So we timed out where we had worked out perfectly. And 20, I think they said 22 Springfield College players, even though it was their spring break, football players came up and got their head shaved.
Yeah, it was their spring break.
Yeah, so 22 players came up and still got their head
shaved. Well, kudos to them.
Yep.
That's awesome. Do any idea, Pete, on how this was a fundraiser? So for just maybe refresh our listeners' memories on what this money goes for.
Yeah, so it goes to direct grants for children's cancer research. So grants, doctors around the country that are doing research studies apply for grants to fund the studies, and they write checks for millions of dollars. So
yeah,
it's pretty good.
Yeah, and so were they happy this year with the
I don't know what the total was. I have to look that up. But that was the capper for a weekend. We did Pucks and Paws at the Thunderbirds game on Saturday night.
Okay.
For Amelia Park had a fundraiser going on, so we bought tickets and you could buy a ticket for your dog.
Okay.
To go to the game.
Okay. So did we have dogs at the game? They
had a parade of dogs between the second and third period on the ice, and there was at least 150 dogs out there.
That must have been hysterical, the dogs on the ice. I mean...
Oh, they were loving it.
No.
I mean, they were pretty sure-footed.
Oh.
But they were taking interest in the West Side Dance Center, who is Michael Buster McMahon's wife.
Oh, okay.
Owns the West Side Dance Center. They were performing on mats in one corner of the rink while they were doing the dog parade. And the dogs were wanting to get in on the dance routine.
Well, why not? There's all kinds of jumping and moving going on there, which dogs love. So, well, it sounds like it was a, kind of a fun-filled weekend busy weekend for you.
It was a busy weekend.
So that was on Saturday?
Saturday night, yeah.
Oh, wow. How cool.
Yeah. Busy weekend.
Yeah. Well, I had a busy weekend myself.
You were out of state.
I was out of state. I went down to Tennessee to visit my brother who lives in Athens, Tennessee, which is about halfway between Knoxville and Chattanooga.
Okay.
So, and I haven't been down there in quite a while. My parents used to live there, and when I used to go visit them, I would fly into Knoxville. But this time I flew into Chattanooga, which is a very small, tiny airport where they still do everything for you. It was very nice. It was wonderful. It was a great weekend. The weather was terrific. So I had my sister-in-law taking pictures of me. They have a bike trail about a mile, which is brand new, like our Columbia Green. And it was so interesting talking to my brother because Athens it's about 15,000. It's a small town.
Yep. And
he said, and they put the bike trail in since the last time I'd been there. And the beginning of it is actually maybe a mile from his house. So it was, and of course, the weather was 71 when I went out for my run. So I was really excited about that. But, I said to Dave, because I remember when we used to have to cross the railroad tracks on the main street, and now it's bike trail.
Yep.
And Dave said, he said it was such an ordeal to get this. We had all of these local people who were all worried that we were going to have, every tramp and low life, and I said, Dave, it's everywhere. We went through the same thing in Westfield, and Dave said it is so used and people love it and it's the greatest thing and everybody's talking about. But here's the difference. It's so funny, Pete. Down there, I went for a run, and here, I'll run on the bike trail, and you have your walkers and your runners usually, and your bikers. Down there, they had your walkers, your runners, those on bicycles, and those on horses.
Yeah.
So lots of, it was a beautiful day. So lots of horses out there on the trail, which are, they were very respectful of, walkers and runners and so forth. But it was wonderful. It was really great. And my brother's really involved, and he helped to start a community theater down there.
Very cool.
25 years ago, probably. And they, kind of started in a school, auditorium type thing. And they now have their own building, the Arts Center. So I said to Dave, I said, I'd really like to see it. I support these things. So as he supports Bay State Health Foundation, and I've supported the arts. So it's beautiful. It's really a nice, cute little theater, and
nice.
They're doing about 6 shows a year now. So they've really taken off with this. So it was great. It was just a really wonderful weekend, really laid back. And he's got a dog. He's got a cat. I'm not a big cat person, but he's got a dog, and so we had fun, just kind of chilling. So that was really good, and I didn't get in until last night. So I went out for breakfast. Dave and both my brother and sister-in-law, Dave and Karen, are retired. He was an attorney. My sister-in-law was a teacher for a million years, and they get together every Tuesday morning with a group of friends.
Breakfast club.
Yep, the breakfast club. They call it the Brownies because they meet at a place called Brownies. So my brother, wanted me down. Originally, I was going to come home Monday night. Because I have the radio show on Wednesday and so forth. And Dave said, no, please, you have to stay until Tuesday because I want you to meet our friends and I want you to come to the Breakfast Club because you're our show and tell. So, so I regaled them with stories of the senior center. And so anyway, big shout out to all of my new friends down in Athens, Tennessee.
Are they all listening this
Brownies. Morning? Well, I think they're going to catch the taped, the videoed version. But their question to me at the end of my my storytelling was, because they thought this was absolutely a hoot that I do a radio show, and they wanted to know how I could do a radio show because when I talk, I generally talk with my hands. Mm-hmm. And how is that possible? And I said, oh, well, it's also on our local cable channel. So they said, oh, well, that explains it. Because as I was telling stories, the hands were flying all over the place. And luckily, my brother had told me in advance. He said, this Breakfast Club group, which can be anywhere from about 8 to 14 people, they kind of have their own back room, like their own separate back room. So
cool.
It allowed for us to be loud and boisterous and arms flying and lots of fun. So anyway, that was my weekend. We have other things because we have to talk about Wacky Tacky Day. I even brought my copy of last week's Westfield News so we could talk about that. But before we take our first break, we have to at least talk about our first birthday.
Okay.
Today is, of course, I put the wrong date. It's March 27th, and on the top of my sheet. Yeah, your sheet is fine. I was trying to get this done before I went to Tennessee.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
March 27th, it is the birthday of singer, songwriter, actress Mariah Carey. She was born March 27th, 1970 in Long Island, New York. She's 49 years old today. Mariah Carey began taking voice lessons at the age of 4. At 18, she signed with Columbia Records, and her first album had 4 #1 singles, including Vision of Love and I Don't Want to Cry. She went on to produce several more albums, later with other studios and top singles, becoming one of the most commercially successful female artists of all time, with more than 200 million records sold. 200 million records. That's amazing.
Yep.
In an April 2018 cover story for People magazine, Mariah Carey shared the story of her longtime secretive battle with bipolar II disorder. First diagnosed in 2001 after being hospitalized for a, quote, breakdown, the singer said she refused to acknowledge it for years. Until recently, I lived in denial and isolation and in constant fear that someone would expose me, she said. It was too heavy a burden to carry, and I simply couldn't do that anymore. Carey said she turned things around after finally reaching out for help, and that she now undergoes therapy and takes medication regularly. She told People, I'm hopeful we can get to a place where the stigma is lifted from people going through anything alone. It can be incredibly isolating. It does not have to define you. So, happy 49th birthday to Mariah Carey. And just for those who are not familiar with the bipolar II disorder, it is sort of, you have to be careful about describing it as a milder version of bipolar 1, but it does have its ups and downs. You know, it's high moods and low moods, not as severe as bipolar 1 disorder. And the lows tend to be more extended than the highs. So people with bipolar 2 tend to be more clinically depressed for longer periods of time. Then you'll see a little bump up high, and then you'll go back to the depression. Mm-hmm. So it's, I applaud her for talking about it publicly, because I agree. I think that whole, we have a whole stigma about mental health issues in this country. And if we can kind of do something about that and get the word out that, it's okay. People can live with it. You can live a normal life, get it under control. So happy 49th birthday to Mariah Carey. And we will do one more birthday because this will be our next break. It is the birthday of singer-songwriter Kimbra, born March 27th, 1990 in Hamilton, New Zealand. She's 29 years old today. Kimbra Lee Johnson is professionally known as Kimbra. Her musical talent led to early performances and prizes, as well as a recording contract when she was just 17. She moved to Australia, and even before the release of her first album in 2011, she was famous for her guest vocals on Gautier's hit single, Somebody That I Used to Know, and we will hear that a little bit later. So, it is 6:15. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses. And our first song is a Mariah Carey song. It's called Someday, and it's in honor of Mariah Carey's 49th birthday.
You were so blind to Underwriting for WSKB's community radio programming is brought to you in part by Dunkin' Donuts, providing new handcrafted espresso drinks and all-day breakfast sandwiches. There's more to love with DD Perks, a loyalty program that's loyal to you. On the web at DunkinDonuts.com and at several locations throughout Westfield, including the Ely Campus Center.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Discussions of local politics, events, happenings, and miscellany potpourri. Ken's Den, Tuesday, 8 to 10.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:20. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses. It is Wednesday, March 27th. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host. I'm in studio this morning with the chairman of the board, producer Pete Coles. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning.
And just to let our listeners know, a little bit later on, our second hour, we'll have Eliana Lakritz with us. Eliana is a clinical dietitian with Bay State Noble Hospital. She was on a couple of months ago, and somewhere along the line in our discussion, we were talking, or she mentioned the Mediterranean diet. So I had invited her to come back so she could tell us about that, because we're hearing a lot about the Mediterranean diet and how good it is for you. I know Beth Cardillo up at Armbrook Village, they kind of subscribe to the Mediterranean diet. So we're going to learn all about it. What is it? Why is it good for you? Maybe some recipes and some things that we can cook. So that will be happening second hour. In the meantime, March 27th is National Joe Day. Enjoy a cup of Joe with all of your friends named Joe, Joey, Joseph, Josephine, Joanna, Joanne, Jody, or any variant of the name Joe every year on March 27th, National Joe Day. There are many famous people named Joe, and just a few of them are Joe Montana, football player, Joe Pesci, comedian, musician, actor, Joe Biden, politician, lawyer, former vice president, Joe Namath, football player, Joseph Stalin, dictator, Joe DiMaggio, baseball player, Joe Cocker, musician, Joe Frazier, boxer, Joe Walsh, musician, and our own famous Joe right here at WSKB, Joe Rouse, director of the health department, City of Westfield. So today we honor all people named Joe. So I have a couple of Joannes at the Senior Center. We have Joanne Spear, our kitchen manager, and Joanne Ortegas, our outreach coordinator. So for those of you who will be at the Senior Center today, wish them a happy National Joe Day and a happy Joe Day to all the Joes in your life. So if you happen to see Joe Rouse floating around City Hall, you have to remind him it's National Joe Day. I was kind of hoping that would coincide, with his trip to the Senior Center. I mean, to the radio station. March 27th is also National Scribble Day. So National Scribble Day on March 27th inspires children to kindness through art. Each of us starts out as a little colorful, wrinkled up human being with eyes, nose, and sometimes a shock of hair. Our personality develops as we go. We're a bit like a scribble. Children's scribbles become more than just scribbles when eyes and a smile are added. Somehow a personality leaps onto the page, and with it, encouragement for children to grow and express themselves. The positive result, looking back at them, spreads a surge of joy that is infectious. That's what's so wonderful about scribbles. Anyone can make them no matter their ability. This means everyone from grandpa to the smallest family member can join in the day. Gather up the crayons in every color and scribble up smiles for everyone. I love that. I love that. You know, I used to do, when I was teaching at Springfield College, I used to do a couple of lectures on the therapeutic value of art with special populations. And I know Beth Cardillo has talked about this a little bit, especially in working with art with folks with Alzheimer's disease, and one of the things, and I know she has her Alzheimer's gala coming up, and some of the artwork that's done is really beautiful and really wonderful. But the other piece of it as a therapeutic value is just the process of doing it, engaging and having them connect with one another. And it's really not the finished product, in those cases, it's just the process of,
right.
And there are no right or wrongs. It's just like a preschooler, you're not, when they make something or create something, it's like, ooh, tell me about this, because it's not like, ooh, that's pretty, or ooh, that's ugly, or, ooh, you use the wrong colors. It's just like, hey, tell me about it. And art can be just a wonderful therapeutic expression. So happy National Scribble Day. All right, back to our birthdays. So it is also the birthday, March 27th, born 1975 in Hacienda Heights, California. It is the birthday of Stacey Ferguson, who is actually the singer Fergie. She's 44 years old today. She started out appearing in commercials and on the cast of Kids Incorporated in 1984. She joined the hip-hop rock band The Black Eyed Peas, and their 2003 album Elefunk became a hit, driven by singles like Where's the Love and Hey Mama. Fergie also has released 2 albums as a solo artist, The Duchess and Double Duchess. That's hard to say, Double Duchess. So happy 44th birthday to singer Fergie. And it is, let me see, how many more do I do? I have a couple more. Okay. Yeah. It is the birthday of the late Sarah Vaughan, singer-pianist. She was born March 27th, 1924 in Newark, New Jersey. She died on April 3rd, 1990. Sarah Vaughan's first step toward becoming a professional singer was taken at a talent contest held at Harlem's Apollo Theater, where many African-American music legends made their name. She won the 1942 competition and caught the attention of another vocalist, Billy Eckstine, who persuaded Earl Hines to hire Vaughan to sing with his orchestra. Also working with Eckstine were trumpeter Dizzy Gillespie and saxophonist Charlie Parker, who introduced the group to a new form of jazz known as bebop. And inspired Sarah Vaughan brought bebop into her singing. Hits include Whatever Lola Wants in 1955, Misty in 1957, and Broken-Hearted Melody in 1959, which sold more than 1 million copies. And we will actually listen to Broken-Hearted Melody a little bit later on in the show. So happy birthday to the late Sarah Vaughan. And finally, it is the birthday of Polly Perrette, television actress, also singer, which I did not know. She was born March 27th, 1969, New Orleans, Louisiana. She is 50 years old today. Actress Polly Perrette initially intended to pursue a career in criminology, earning a master's degree at Valdosta State College. Her first big break came in 1996 with a recurring role on the legal drama Murder One. She found her greatest success as Abby on the crime drama NCIS. In the show, she played an offbeat forensic scientist known for her tattoos and goth fashion sense. Her character worked with a team of Navy investigators led by Leroy Jethro Gibbs, played by Mark Harmon. The show developed a huge following, and Perrette emerged as a fan favorite. Perrette is also a musician and runs her own independent music label. So happy 50th birthday to Abby from NCIS, who's not on the show anymore. I think last season was her last season. Yeah, she did. She left last season. But yeah, she was definitely a fan favorite and, definitely kind of out there. But, shows need people like Abby. Yeah. And I noticed there's another, I keep seeing the trailers for another show, and it's one that I don't watch. And they look like they sort of took all, there's a character kind of similar to that, sort of that Way Out, but, kind of thing. Anyway, fun stuff. All right. So, Pete, since we last met, last week, so we had our Wacky Tacky Day at the Senior Center, which was So much fun. Recall that Wacky Tacky Days where we clean out all the cupboards and the closets, and we utilize all of our leftover napkins and cups and paper goods from the whole year. So that's pretty much every holiday you can think of, because we pretty much had a party for every holiday you can think of. So it was just a big fat mishmash of all this stuff. But we tied it in with St. Patrick's Day. So the menu was corned beef and cabbage and potatoes and carrots. And, the meal was outstanding. My kitchen crew outdid themselves. The reviews were rave from the participants. But we decided to tie this also in, I hope Harry Rock is listening, with the Westfield 350th. Because right now everything gets tied in with the Westfield 350th. So everyone who came was instructed they had to don some article of clothing that was Westfield related.
Okay.
So it could be from one of the schools, from one of the local businesses, from one of the local organizations. It could be the colors of any of those organizations or school. And it was funny because when people when we've done Wacky Tacky Day before, we've had like Wacky Tacky Pajama Day, we've done Wacky Tacky Beach Day. So people have, worn pajamas, they've worn, shorts and things like that. So, and you could see all of that as they were coming in underneath their coats. Well, this time, people were coming in and they had their winter coats on because it was chilly. And I'm thinking, wow, they didn't really do anything. They didn't, they didn't get into it. Well, yeah, they did, because all their stuff was underneath their coats.
Right.
So, and I was at the front door. So when I went into the room where now everyone was seated and with coats off, I mean, there was just Westfield stuff all over the place. So
cool.
I had a field day taking pictures. I sent a slew of pictures to Patrick Barry, and I said, I know I'm sending you like a zillion pictures. Just please use whatever you can. I think he just about put all of them in there. I mean, look at this spread. We had like a zillion, but we had, just to give you an idea. So we had, I love this, Bob Merriman and Marilyn Smith they made 350th crowns, king and queen crowns, Westfield 350th. So I thought that was really cool. We had a woman who had on her YMCA t-shirt sitting. Oh, and the other thing that happened was we had members of it was from the Boys and Girls Club, the Torch members. We asked them to make us centerpieces. They made, they're beautiful. They made pictures. They painted pictures of various Westfield sort of treasures. So whether it was like, Westfield State University, they had one from the YMCA, the Boys and Girls Club. They had Westfield High School. They had one from Tech. So they had like the symbols or the logos. Mm-hmm. So for the YMCA, they have a picture of a gymnast, and they have Westfield YMCA and all kinds of colorful stuff. Well, the woman who was sitting at that table with the YMCA shirt on, I think one of her relatives, and I'm not sure, remember whether it was a daughter or a daughter-in-law, coaches the gymnastics team. Yep. And I think her granddaughter is on the gymnastics team. And there was one winner at each table for the centerpiece, whatever that was. And this woman wanted it so badly. She said, I want to win. She goes, I'll pay you, but I really want this because this is so meaningful to me. So anyway, I said, you work it out with your table. Because the winner was whoever's birthday was closest to May 19th, 17th, whatever the parade is, May 19th, I think is the parade day. So that's the way that worked. But we had this woman who I thought this was really clever. She had on a black squirrel t-shirt. This is Pat Hall. She had a straw hat, and she had cut out the headline from the Westfield News and had taped or stapled that to her hat. So that says Westfield News across the top. We had a woman who says, who wore a t-shirt that she had made that says, you can take this girl out of Westfield, but you can't take Westfield out of this girl, which I thought was really cute. We have the 104th was represented. We had, do you remember Abdow's?
Yes.
This woman worked at Abdow's. She pulled out this sweatshirt, and we said to her, where did you get that? And she said, I worked there. And that was over in what's now the medical center. It used to be Bickford's.
I used to go to the one in Allen and Cooley in Springfield.
Okay, yeah. So that was there. We had this woman who had her vocational jacket on, and so I took a front and a back of her.
Yep.
Westfield G&E, Strathmore Paper, Westfield State. And this Carol Drissel took she wore her Friends of the Westfield Senior Center T-shirt, and then she took business cards from all the local businesses around Westfield and pinned them onto her T-shirt. So I just thought it was just really great. We had a lot of, and some black squirrels again, and it was just a whole lot of fun. It was great, and people really got into it. So thank you, Harry Rock, again for all of your hard work on the 350th, because, this is just really, it's extending beyond, just a committee of people and just a parade. It's and just a first night. It's just, it's all over the place. Yeah. Yep. And we have the quilt, the 350th, the Westfield quilt hanging at the Senior Center. If you would like raffle tickets, that quilt is being raffled off. And next month, I think the next 2 months, it will be over at City Hall. Mm-hmm. So it is 6:34. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses. This song is Somebody That I Used to Know, and this is in honor of Kimbra's birthday.
Said you felt so happy you could die. I told myself that you were right for me, but felt so lonely in your company. But that was love, and it's an ache I still remember. Resignation to the end, always the end. So when we found that we could not make sense, well, you said that we would still be friends. But I'll admit that I was glad it was over. Change
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Commercial Distributing Company of Westfield. Now in its third generation of family ownership, Commercial is one of the premier beverage distributors of Western Massachusetts. The Plasek family and the staff of Commercial Distributing wishes you good times throughout the year and urges you to drink responsibly. We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
Discussions of local politics, events, happenings, and miscellany potpourri. That's what you'll find on Ken's Den, Tuesdays from 8 till 10.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:39. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses. It is Wednesday, March 27th. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I'm in studio this first hour with producer Pete Coles, chairman of the board. Good morning again, Pete.
Good morning.
And again, we'll have Eliana Lakritz with us. Second hour, Eliana is a dietitian with Bay State Noble Hospital, and the topic will be the Mediterranean diet. So that'll be a little bit later during the show. Today, again, we are celebrating National Joe Day. So for all of you who know someone named Joe or some form of Joe, you can wish them a happy Joe Day. Lots of Joes out there. And, of course, our own special WSKB resident health director, Joe Rouse. So special shout out to you, Joe Rouse. It's also National Scribble Day. So, get the crayons out. And that's a multi-generational activity. It can be grandmas and grandpas, aunties and uncles, and, moms and dads and kids. And get out the crayons and do a little coloring today. At the Senior Center, we have Beth Cardillo coming over to the Senior Center. Beth is on the committee if you recall, a few weeks ago we had Anna Marie Golden on. We were talking about the community health needs assessment that the hospital is doing. This is something that hospitals are required to do. It was interesting because I was reading my edition. I didn't bring it in today, but the Business and Industry Journal is out. The Westfield News annual Business and Industry Journal, the magazine that came out Monday, or it was supposed to. I wasn't here, but I got my copy. And I was reading the pages that Bay State Noble Hospital had put together, and Ron Bryan had kind of talked about the hospitals today versus hospitals of yesteryear. And one of the differences is that hospitals today are much more in tune with what's going on within the community. And it's not just sick people coming to the hospital, we treat you, we send you home. It's to a certain extent trying to be proactive. What are the needs of the community? So periodically, the hospitals are mandated to do a community health needs assessment. The acronym is CHNA. And basically what Bay State Noble has been doing for the last couple of months is trying to get out into the community and get people's opinions of, what how are we doing? What are the issues? We know the opioid crisis is an issue. We know food insecurity is an issue. We have a lot of children, a lot of students that are getting free meals because they don't have enough food at home. I mean, that's the bottom line. So they've been gathering this information a number of ways. They are speaking with, sort of professionals in the field and people who work with certain populations and, with certain issues. But they also, kind of want to get the average person's opinion. And again, that covers the age span. So Beth will be she's done some of what we're calling community chats, where she just sort of informally meets with groups. And the easiest way she has found to do that is to meet with groups that already are gathering. So she'll be at the Senior Center this morning. She's going to meet with our Sassy Stitcher Knit and Crochet group. They're going to be sitting and knitting and crocheting for a couple of hours anyway. So this will be Beth sitting down with them and saying, okay, what are the issues? If you have healthcare issues, what are the problems? So she's going to be at the Senior Center. I think she may go up and visit with the pool players and the card players, and then she may be at lunch as well. So, and she's kind of been out and about. They're wrapping up the information gathering piece of this process, and then we'll be synthesizing all of that information that they gather and then creating a report and getting that out to the community. So it's been a whole big, long process, and there's been a whole team of people, that are working on it. I know Bill Parks and I are working on another piece of it, and just trying to get all the last-minute information in. So if you are at the Senior Center today, and certainly if you have something that you want to tell Beth, find her in the building. I think she's going to be in there at about 9:30 or 10 o'clock, and we'll probably be there most of the morning. So,
okay.
Also at the Senior Center, we are coming up with our historical perspectives discussion group. This was a group that was started by someone a few years ago. He wanted to kind of do just an informal discussion group talking about historical topics and just facilitate that group. And it was very well received. And unfortunately, the person who facilitated it had some health problems and had to kind of give it up, and was hoping that it would just be a very temporary thing. And it's actually turned into a more extended time period. And I had a lot of my older adults requesting that we get the group back up and running. So Les Hutton, who also does our chess group, he also leads and facilitates our chess group, is actually a retired history professor from Westfield State University. And Les is in our Do Re Mi Singers group and coordinates the chess group, and now has agreed to take over the historical perspectives group. They'll probably be meeting on a monthly basis, and their first meeting will be on Wednesday, April 3rd, which is next week, from 10 to 11:30. Les has chosen for his topic for discussion perspectives on the American Revolution from 1776 to the present. The group will explore the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution and its 10 amendments, which is very relevant today, as well as the Bill of Rights and their relevance in modern America and the global community. Participants will have an opportunity to exchange ideas and perspectives, so bring your thoughts and your ideas to this fascinating discussion group. You do not have to sign up. There's no special preparation. You don't have to read any books in advance. I think that Les will have some handouts that he'll be giving out, but come on over and just see what it's all about. And again, that's Historical Perspectives, Wednesday, April 3rd, from 10 to 11:30. So we'll see how that one goes. All right, it is 6:45. Before I do some more Senior Center announcements and then some Westfield announcements, because we have a lot going on in the city as the warmer weather approaches, and we're all coming out of hibernation. This song is my choice for 6:45 is a song by Raffi, who, if any of you have young children, you all know Raffi is a singer. He sings children's songs. I wanted to do a song to scribble by because it's National Scribble Day, so I chose this one. It's called I'm in the Mood by Raffi. Enjoy.
I'm in the mood for singing. Hey, how about you? I'm in the mood for singing. Hey, how about you? I'm in the mood for singing, singing along with you. Hey, hey, what do you say? I'm in the mood for that today. Hey, hey, what do you say? I'm in the mood for that. Well, I'm in the mood for clapping. Hey, how about you? I'm in the mood for clapping. Hey, how about you? I'm in the mood for clapping, clapping along with you. Hey, hey, what do you say? I'm in the mood for that today. Hey, hey, what do you say? I'm in the mood for that. And I'm in the mood for whistling. I'm in the mood for whistling. I'm in the mood for whistling, whistling along with you. Hey, hey, what do you say? I'm in the mood for that. the mood for that today. Hey, hey, what do you say? I'm in the mood for that. I'm in the mood for stomping. Hey, how about you? I'm in the mood for stomping. Hey, how about you? I'm in the mood for stomping, stomping along with you. Hey, hey, what do you say? I'm in the mood for that today. Hey, hey, what do you say? I'm in the mood for that. Yes, I'm in the mood for singing. Hey, how about you? I'm in the mood for singing. Hey, how about you? I'm in the mood for singing, singing along with you. Hey, hey, what do you say? I'm in the mood for that today. Hey, hey, what do you say? I'm in the mood for that. Hey, hey, what do you say? I'm in the mood for that today. Hey, hey, what do you say? I'm in the mood for that. I'm in the mood for that. Oh, I'm in the mood, and if you're in the mood, then we're in the mood for that.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Commercial Distributing Company of Westfield. Now in its third generation of family ownership, Commercial is one of the premier beverage distributors of Western Massachusetts. The Placek family and the staff of Commercial Distributing wishes you good times throughout the year and urges you to drink responsibly. We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Friday mornings is something different on 89.5 FM. It's JP's Talk About Town.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University. This is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:50. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses. It is Wednesday, March 27th. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host. I'm in studio this morning with the chairman of the board, producer Pete Coles. Good morning again, Pete.
Good morning.
And our guest next hour will be Eliana Lakritz. Eliana's a dietitian with Bay State Noble Hospital, and the topic of the day will be the Mediterranean diet, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, a few more announcements about some things going on at the Senior Center, and the next two things are really open to the public, so this is not just senior related. We're very, very excited. We got a grant through the Westfield Cultural Council to bring the Small Planet dancers to the Westfield Senior Center on Sunday, April 7th at 2 p.m. The program that they're going to do is called The Greatest Generation, a tribute to the heroes of World War II. This 90-minute program commemorates the history of the war through dance routines set to big band music, performed in authentic military and 1940s dress. Included are readings about the Tuskegee Airmen, the Navajo Code Talkers, and the 442nd Infantry. Familiar songs of the era are sung and accompanied on the piano. All veterans are guests of honor for their faithful service to our nation. There is no charge for this program. It is open to the public. It is family friendly, so we are going to open the doors to the Senior Center on Sunday, April 7th at 2 o'clock and really invite the public to come in and celebrate with us the heroes of World War II. And I want to thank the Small Planet dancers, and we collaborated to get this grant written, and I obviously especially want to thank the Westfield Cultural Council for providing the funding for this, because I had several seniors who had heard about this, a couple who have seen it done elsewhere by this group and said, we have to get it at the Senior Center. It's just a great program. So it's funny, Pete, because at the time that we scheduled this, which was back in the fall, April 7th seemed a really long time away.
Right.
And suddenly it's March 27th and April 7th is in a week and a half.
Yep.
So we are really starting to promote this heavily. I know Julie Barnes has the flyers at the Veterans Services. Julie is Director of Veteran Services for the City of Westfield, located right in the Senior Center. She's down the hall from us. So she has been, kind of promoting this as well, really hoping that the vets will come. So please join us for that. Free of charge. Bring the kids, bring the grandkids. It's a family-friendly program, which is
cool.
really nice. The other thing that'll be happening at the Senior Center on April 27th, which is also open to the public, is Shred Day. So CSF Westfield, Dollars for Scholars, is doing a fundraiser for local scholarships. These scholarships are local to Westfield residents, helping Westfield students achieve their dreams of higher education since 1962. So Document Shred Day will occur on Saturday, April 27th from 9 a.m. until noon or until the truck is full. It happens rain or shine. Please no early birds, because it does take them a little bit to get set up. They have the cones set up. They do it kind of in the far corner of the parking lot at the Senior Center. Hopefully by then the snow will be all melted. I keep doing a snow melt chart, because most of you can see the grass, so that's fine. But those big piles of snow that we have everywhere from where the plows had to pile it. Well, I lost 20 parking spaces this winter because of snow piles. So I noticed this morning, even though it was kind of dark when I swung into the Senior Center, I think I'm gaining parking spaces. So the piles are melting, and hopefully by Shred Day, which is a month from now, it's actually a month from today, hopefully all those piles will be melted, because usually they set up on the far corner. You can bring your documents to be shredded and recycled. It's a $5 donation to CSF Westfield Dollars for Scholars for every box that you bring. There's not really any size to the boxes, so get a good size box, but something you can lift. Although if you pull up, if you have it in your trunk, they've got plenty of help, and they've got some of the high school kids, and they'll lift it out of your trunk.
You have a box for like a case of paper.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can do something like that. There's a limit of 3 boxes. So this is a great time to kind of go through. They usually do this after tax season is over, so that people can clear out their old records, save your tax records from this year, but go back a few years, get rid of the old ones, and create some space for yourself. So that's Shred Day at the Senior Center. We had people calling us and asking us like a month ago, and Mary Cohut, who's our clerk, who hasn't been with us a year yet, so she wasn't familiar with it, and she said, I'm getting calls about shredding at the Senior Center. Does that happen? I said, yes, it happens every spring in April. We don't sponsor it, but we give them the space. Also, a reminder that the Senior Center nursing schedule, we have Mary Ellen Asher, our RN, is at the Senior Center Tuesday and Friday mornings from 9 a.m. to noon, courtesy of Bay State Noble Hospital. Thank you to Ron Bryant and the hospital. Mary Ellen will do blood pressure checks. She'll do medication review. She'll do health education if, she needs to get in touch with your PCP, your primary care physician, and help you to set something up. I think what Mary Ellen's been doing lately is we have Dr. Kingra is retiring. We have several physicians in the area who are retiring.
I just went through that.
Yeah, and I think Mary Ellen's been kind of working with some folks to try to figure out, under their health insurance plan, who they can switch to. So a lot of, consternation about all of that. And I get that, especially for some of these people, they've had the same primary care for a lot of years. So that's a struggle. And I know
mine was over 20.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, I know when Dr. Lovelace was here last week, he was saying that they've been getting calls at Family Medicine, and they're taking on a new. Did he say, Pete, that?
I think so. Yeah,
they're
the daughter of somebody who's retiring.
Yes, it's the daughter of one of the doctors. Yes,
yeah.
And I'm not sure if she started yet, but she's coming on board, so they will be taking some new patients over at Family Medicine. Okay, where am I? Oh, okay. I have a little bit of time before our top of the hour break. So I wanted to announce that, we have several people, lots of people within the city who are doing this for the Westfield's 350th. They're doing the race series.
Yep.
So you have to run or walk. You can walk 5 races over the course of, you had like a little bit less than a year to do. Well, it started on January 1st, and you have until it'll run with Run Stanley in October. So you have to do 5 races. So a lot of people did Gordy's race on New Year's Day. There was an indoor meet, like sort of an indoor track meet at Westfield State University in February, and some of the walkers did that. We had some runners do that. That counted. They've added a race to the series. I have the little postcard with the series, but they added one, which I'm going to be doing on April 7th. It's the same day as the Small Planet Dancers, but that starts at 2, and this is right here at the university at 9 a.m. So you have plenty of time to walk, run, or do whatever, go have lunch, and still get to the performance. So it's 9 o'clock, and it's their alumni run, which typically has just been for Westfield State alumni. But for the 350 race series, Vanessa Diana made sure that they opened it up to the public. I think it's a win-win because, it's a fundraiser for the Alumni Association. If they open up to the public, they'll get, obviously raise more money.
Sure.
Get more money. And for those of us that are doing the race series, it gives us one more race. So scheduled race. And so if you would like to sign up for that, you can register. You can just go, if you go into the Westfield State University website, go under Alumni Affairs, and the information is there. There's the registration. You can register online. There's also a map of the route, and the whole running route is just through the campus. So they won't be utilizing, any police out in the out on any of the public roads. It'll all be through the campus. So again, that's going to happen on April 7th. The race starts at 9 a.m. So if you're interested in that, it does count for the 350 race series. So that's important for those of us who are going for those jackets, because that's what'll happen at the end of the 5. If you do 5 of this races in the series, you get a jacket at Run Stanley. So we're all excited about that. So I just wanted to make sure that people knew that, because I know I have some people at the senior center who are walking the series, and we're very interested in getting that extra race in there. So Pete, it was 25 degrees this morning, by the way, weather-wise. I don't know do we know what's coming down the pike today? But I just felt like it was freezing out there. Of course, I just came back from Tennessee where it was in the 70s. So
mid-40s, I think.
Okay. All right. And I think
I can check it in the
Friday
break.
it's supposed to go up into the 60s. So we're getting there.
This is spring. This is what's,
so it's
some cold
it's a little crazy. It's going to be, and it's still March.
Yeah,
but it was just.
We have cold days. We have warm days. It happens.
But no major snow events coming up, right?
I didn't see anything. I think it's rain from here on out.
Okay. Well, we will check that out while we take our 7 o'clock top of the hour break. It is 7 o'clock. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses. We will be back.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Noble Hospital, a brand new name for a Westfield institution which is improving the health of our community every day with quality and compassion. Noble Hospital and Bay State Health. Better together.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Friday mornings is something different on 89.5 FM. It's JP's Talk About Town.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from the campus of Westfield State University. This is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:03. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses. It is Wednesday, March 27th. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I'm in studio this morning with the chairman of the board, producer Pete Coles. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning.
And in a few minutes, we will be joined by Aliana Lakritz, clinical dietitian with Bay State Noble Hospital. The topic of the day will be the Mediterranean diet. But before we get to that, we have a few more announcements to do for things that are going on around Westfield coming up. So first of all, tonight, March 27th, which is the last Wednesday of the month, the Alzheimer's Support Group will meet at Armbrook Village. They meet at 6 p.m., and Armbrook is located at 551 North Road. It's right around the corner from 7B's, the old Purple Onion. Enjoy a light dinner and a chance to share your personal experiences and strategies for communicating with your loved one. If you'd like more information, you can call 568-0000. And again, this support group, which I can't say enough about, it's just a terrific resource for people who are caregiving for someone with Alzheimer's or a related dementia. Again, the support group is held on the last Wednesday of every month at 6 o'clock. So thank you to Beth Cardillo and our friends at Armbrook Village for hosting that. Tonight, Pete, in the 350th lecture series, March 27th, Reverend Edward Taylor's Westfield, the poet, pastor, and his congregation, 1671 to 1721. It's at the First Congregational Church. It's presented by Walter Powell. Do I have that all right? They didn't change that at all?
Correct. I'll be there
You will be there doing the videotaping for that. And we still have 1, 2, 3, 4.
There's a whole mess of them.
5 more after this. And my understanding is that these have been very well attended.
Oh, yeah.
So I just think it's terrific that people are, that interested in the
And people are clamoring
history.
for the videos. I mean, we posted
Excellent.
another one of the what was the one that I did? The schoolhouses.
And Pete, I think that's really important. I'm thank you for bringing that up. So for folks who haven't been able to get out, I have some people who don't drive at night, some of the seniors especially. How can they see the videos? How can they access those?
If you dig into the Westfield 350, Westfield350.org, whatever, website, and you go into events and then speaker series, and I think that they have them all.
And then it'll be listed probably.
Yeah, or under the media.
Series.
I think they have all the YouTube links are there, and you can look at them right from the website.
So I think if you just Googled Westfield, Massachusetts 350th celebration.
It's Westfield350.org.
Yeah, that'll take you to the website, and then once you get in the website, you'll be able to find that.
Yep, and we're also posting them. If you go on, the ones that I'm doing, we're posting them on YouTube. You can look up Westfield Community Programming Channel.
Wonderful.
So you can look up that channel, and they're on there too.
Westfield Community Programming Channel.
Yeah, that's where Kenny's getting the links from to put them on the website.
Perfect. Thank you for doing that. So that'll be a great resource. Also, coming up, again, this is one of those things that I can remember a couple months ago. I started making some announcements, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is so far away. And it's not that far away. On April 12th, we have Chicago Total Access Performance to benefit the Westfield Police Auxiliary. That will happen at Westfield Technical Academy in the Upper Campus Auditorium. Starts at 7:30. I have to get my tickets for this. The funds generated from this event will go a long way to support new equipment for the volunteers of the Westfield's Police Auxiliary to help keep our community safe during major outdoor events in our city, including, by the way, Music Fest and all of our summer concert series. So the
350th weekend.
And oh my gosh, that's right, the 350th weekend. And were they there? They were there at the first night celebration, were they not? Yeah, the Police Auxiliary. So I think this is WOW's opportunity to sort of give back and help support them because they help support us, sort of thing. So Chicago Total Access is a Chicago tribute band, music group made up of 10 talented musicians who all grew up listening to American and British pop rock, jazz, blues, rhythm and blues, Motown, acid rock, and they've been influenced by music from the 40s to the 70s. They've attempted to recreate a slice of the timeless musical catalog of Chicago, as well as stay true to the spirit of the original recording. So tickets for the show are available online at www.purplepass.com or at Rocky's Ace Hardware store right downtown. So you can get your tickets. Should be really a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
And even before that, tomorrow night, at the Dower Center at 7 o'clock, Michael Buster McMahon and JP's Golden Age of Radio will be presenting 3 original Michael Buster McMahon plays.
Now, where's the Dower Center?
The old Juniper Park School.
Oh, okay. All right.
So starting at 7 o'clock, we will have 3 plays. The donation is $10 to the Westfield State Jazz Band, or $5 if you're a student or a senior.
Okay. Oh my gosh, I didn't know anything about that.
So we're staging 3 radio plays, 2 15-minute plays, and 1 30-minute play.
That's right. Bob was talking about that on his radio show last week. I'm sure he talked about it yesterday, but I wasn't around.
Yep. So Michael Buster McMahon, we're getting 3 more of his plays on the stage.
Okay. So, and people can just come and do the donation when they get there. They don't have to worry about getting anything yet. You don't have to worry about doing anything in advance. And what time is that again, Pete?
7 o'clock.
And it's easy. The old Juniper Park School. There's lots of parking over there in the auditorium. That's wonderful.
So that's going to be
awesome.
There's a mystery, there's a screwball comedy, and I forget what the third one was, but 2 15s in it, and so the jazz band's going to play in between all the plays.
Nice.
Yeah.
What a great, you know what? I love that kind of stuff because it's, when people
and
say...
we're staging it as a radio play. So there'll be easels on the stage and microphones for all the actors and things like that.
Fun. So it's kind of one of those, hey, is there anything to do? Yep, we got plenty to do. Not a problem.
Yeah, grab dinner downtown and then come on up for dinner.
Yes.
Or grab dinner at the Dining Commons.
Yeah. Oh, either way. Either way. There's also a really neat exhibit at the Westfield Athenaeum. It's on display until April 7th. Westfield Athenaeum archivist Kate Devaney has mounted an exhibit titled Made in Westfield to display Westfield's history of industry and manufacturing. It's open in the Jasper Rand Art Museum during regular business hours. While not complete, the display reminds us of the wide variety of manufacturing that has been in Westfield since early times. The cotton thread mill of Richard Falley, brick making, ice cutting and powder mills, as well as the bicycle, whip, paper, and cigar making that this town is famous for. Several current businesses have also loaned us materials that you can learn about: boroscopes, microabrasive powders, grinding wheels, and artificial joints. So I thought that must be a really kind of a neat display that Kate's been working on. And again, it's up at the Athenaeum now and will be up until April 7th. So you got about another week and a half to go check that out.
Yep.
And speaking of the Athenaeum, the Friends of the Westfield Athenaeum are presenting the Robert Hullivan Memorial Spring Book Sale. That will happen at Lang Auditorium at the Westfield Athenaeum on Thursday, April 25th, Friday, April 26th, and Saturday, April 27th. Friends members, so Friends of the Westfield Athenaeum members and educators include teachers, paraprofessionals, anybody who works for the Westfield schools. They have a preview night on Wednesday, April 24th from 4 to 8. There are $5 coupons for educators and new Friends members sign up. So you can become a new Friend member right then and there and go ahead and take advantage of the Wednesday preview, which is on Wednesday, April 24th. Book donations for the sale. If you have any clean, gently used adult or children's books to donate, you can donate them anytime during regular library hours between now and April 19th. All proceeds support the programs of the Athenaeum. And I do have to mention that they have named this the Robert Hullivan Memorial Spring Book Sale. Robert Hullivan was an active member of the Senior Center. He was on my board of directors for the Friends Group, passed away fairly suddenly before the holidays. And Robert was a huge proponent and did a lot of legwork on the annual book sale, the annual spring book sale, gathering books and picking books up and helping to organize. And so I thought it was really fitting that they named this the Robert Hullivan Memorial Spring Book Sale. I think he would be pleased with that. So donate your books, and I think they take like videotapes and that kind of stuff too. Media, all kinds of media stuff. And before we go to break, I did mention earlier, but I will mention it again because I know Harry Rock is probably listening, because we have Rock on Westfield, right? Don't we have Rock on Westfield coming on after me? Yep, at 8:00 with Harry Rock. The historic Westfield 350th anniversary quilt raffle is going on. This quilt was actually done by the Peacemakers Quilt Group, which is a group that meets at the Senior Center on Friday afternoons. They made this beautiful quilt, which is on display this month at the Senior Center. It's kind of traveled. It's made its way all over the city. And when it leaves the Senior Center at the end of this month, it's going over to City Hall. So we'll have to ask Harry where it will be displayed at City Hall. Tickets, they are raffling it off. It's a fundraiser for the 350th committee. Tickets are $1 each, or 6 for $5. You can get tickets at the Senior Center. My greeters are selling the raffle tickets. You can also get them at Blended Village Marketplace and Rosewood Home and Gifts, or you can email the 350th quilt at gmail.com. So all kinds of ways to get some raffle tickets for that. It's a beautiful quilt. And if you want to see what it looks like, come on over to the Senior Center, walk in the front door, and look straight ahead. We have it hanging in the Fireside Lounge. So it is 7:14. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses. And in honor of Fergie's birthday, we're going to play Let's Get It Started by Black Eyed Peas.
Let's get it started in here.
And the bass keeps running, running, and 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 running, running, and
in this context, there's no disrespect, so when I bust my rhyme, you break your necks. We got 5 minutes for us to disconnect from all intellect and let the rhythm affect. To lose the inhibition, follow your intuition, free your inner soul and break away from tradition. Cause when we be out, girl, it's pulling me out. You wouldn't believe how we wow. We burn it till it's burned out, turn it till it's turned out. Act up from Northwest East Side. Everybody, everybody, let's get into it. Get stoked, get it started, get it started, get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Yeah. Lose control of body and soul. Don't move too fast, people just take it slow. Don't get ahead, just jump into it. Y'all hear about it? The P's will do it. Get started, get stupid. Don't worry about it, people will walk you through it step by step like an infant new kid. Inch by inch with a new solution. Transmit hits with no delusion. The feeling's irresistible and that's how we move it. Yo, everybody, everybody, let's get into it. Get stupid, get it started, get it started, get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Yeah.
Running, running, and running, running.
Come on, y'all. Let's get it. Let's get it. And while out it. Let's get it. And while out it. Let's get it. And here.
Let's get ill, that's the deal. Applicator will bring the bug dot drill. Just lose your mind, this is the time. You can't stand still, twist and bang your spine. Just bob your head like me, Apple D. Up inside your club or in your Bentley. Get messy, loud and sick. Your mind fast, normal on another head trip. So come them now, do not correct it. Let's get ignorant, let's get hectic.
Everybody, everybody, let's get into it. Get stoked, get it started, get it started, get it started. Let's get it started.
running and running, running and running, running.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Comcast and Xfinity.com, offering Xfinity TV, Internet, home phone, and home security services. Information on all that Xfinity has to offer in the Westfield area is available online at Xfinity.com.
Underwriting for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield, serving the youth of the Whip City and surrounding communities since 1969. For more information on the Great Futures Club for ages 3 to 5, happening weekdays, and the Club Teen Center for ages 11 and older, weekdays from 6:30 till 8 p.m., go online at bcgwestfield.org or visit the club at 28 West Silver Street. The Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield. Great futures start here. We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
Wednesday mornings from 6 till 8, it's Tina Gorman with Wake Up Wednesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:19. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses. It is Wednesday, March 27th. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host. I'm in studio this morning with the chairman of the board, producer Pete Coles. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning.
And we are joined this hour by Eliana Lakritz, clinical dietitian with Bay State Noble Hospital. Good morning,
Good morning.
Eliana. And welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
I know. We haven't seen you. We haven't seen you since, I think, January or February, whatever that was. So hopefully the weather is warming up a bit, although it's a little chilly out there this morning. But we're heading for good things. So since you were on last, you were just telling Pete and me off air that you now got your license. Is it license or certification?
It's a certification.
Okay, so tell us what this new certification is.
So I studied my butt off for a good 5 months and passed the geriatric specialty exam. I found out 2 days ago that I passed.
Well, first of all, congratulations. We're really excited about that. And I'm really excited about the fact that Eliana said off air, now that I have this, let's collaborate. And I love that word because the more that we do a lot of collaborations with Bay State Noble Hospital. So this is yet another one. We're excited. So tell us, when you say you studied your butt off, which I'm sure you did, what were some of the things that you were learning that, kind of brought you to that ultimate goal of the certification for this?
A lot of it was kind of similar to the topic that we discussed in January with dementia and how to identify issues and solve problems that might come up with a lot of those, the geriatric population. It's a lot of understanding vitamin deficiencies and how they manifest, how to identify them in the geriatric population as well, and distinguish that between just general signs of aging.
Yes.
Because, you will see normal muscle loss in anybody. That's just part of the aging process in general. But you need to identify to what extent that becomes a problem.
Yep.
And, there's always different signs of vitamin deficiencies that come up. I've been able to identify some of those just in doing some physical exams. And medication interactions is a big one, too, because as you age, you're put on more and more medications, a lot of the time, not always. But being able to figure out what side effects are caused by all these different medications, kind of interacting with each other, and how that relates to what you eat and how you're eating.
Yeah, I would think that you can definitely see that. We've had Dr. Lovelace has done a couple of sessions over the years on polypharmacy and the dangers of medications interacting with foods that you eat in some cases, medications that you should take on an empty stomach that you shouldn't take on an empty stomach.
It's a lot to remember.
It is a lot to remember. Some that don't take this medication with dairy products, don't take this medication with citrus products.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff to remember.
Yeah, and beyond that, there's a lot of issues that arise. Could be problems with appetite. That's a really, really common one. too much saliva or not enough saliva, which impacts how you taste, how you chew, how you swallow.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that many people don't know about that could be caused by their medications.
Yeah, and absolutely. I don't know if you know the answer to this, so I'm going to throw this out. And if you don't know the answer, that's fine. We'll look it up for the next time. I know, people's body chemistry changes as they age. We know that. There are a lot of physiological things that happen. I know that people lose... their sense of smell is diminished as they age. Does that also impact their taste, how foods taste?
Oh, yeah.
Yes?
I get that. It's a very, very common problem. Okay. Certainly medications can play their part, but just general aging also does that. Okay. But if you're not having, if you have a really bad cold even, you can...
Right, you can't taste
already
your food.
Figure that out
right,
yourself.
Exactly, yeah.
Without having, aging happen. Definitely, if you're not able to smell, the taste will be completely diminished.
Yes.
And that takes away a lot of the enjoyment out of eating and the lack of desire to do it. So.
Yes. And or also that you're, I've seen seniors who have, salted to death. I mean, you just, or sugar, it's the same thing, it's like putting, and I think, I'd be sitting there going, oh my God, how can you eat all that? But if that's what's offering flavor to the food and it takes that much, you can kind of understand that.
Yeah, so it's my job to figure out how to make food palatable or what to suggest to make food taste like something.
Yeah.
Because if you can't smell, chicken breast is going to taste like cardboard, for example. So playing with different flavors, maple is a good one. Bacon actually really helps for some people.
Oh, sure.
So at that
Is that
point,
why people use the Mrs. Dash stuff instead of salt?
That's more
to give a little bit of flavor?
That's usually used as a salt replacement or alternative because of hypertension, something like that. Yeah.
Now, does Mrs. Dash, does that taste like salt, or is that a combination of other spices that taste like other spices?
In my opinion, it doesn't taste salty at all.
Okay.
It just tastes like a bunch of herbs.
Okay.
Different flavors, but not salty.
Right.
Yeah. And you know what? I sort of feel like at some point somebody needs to do... we've offered a lot of nutrition programs at the Senior Center over the years with various themes, but I would love for somebody to do something on herbs. Because I remember somebody telling me, a coworker, years and years ago, before I got married and before I knew how to cook, she said, if you know how to use your herbs and spices, you can, really make a... Well, I saw it at the chili contest when we were at the chili and chowder contest over at the YMCA. Some of the chilies just had some really interesting spices. I couldn't identify them, but I thought, oh, this is really good.
Yeah.
And it can really bring out, the flavor in foods. I have a chart that, somebody gave me a long time ago. It's actually like a wall hanging, and it's got different spices and herbs, and then it'll have a list of what you can put them in, whether it's, stews or soups or whatever. And I've used that over the years. I mean, it's probably 40 years old or 30 years old, but I've found that helpful. I'm sure now there's a lot more intricate, information on the internet, but I think that would be helpful to people.
I think that really would, because a lot of people don't know how to use them or what they would go well with.
Right. I mean, you have spices, I used to open up my mother's spice cabinet and go, well, what do you do with this? Some of them, cumin, exactly, which is a great spice, by the way. But, some of them are a lot more popular. And so, you would, but some of them, it's like, what do you do with, tarragon? What do you do with that?
Saffron, things like that.
Yeah, saffron. Yeah, some of those. It's like, what is that?
I experiment.
Yeah.
Well,
Pete likes to cook, so
you could take a little pinch in your finger and just try and figure out what that might pair with instead of just using it blindly. I think that would help.
Yeah. Probably. Yeah. So congratulations on this certification. So now do you have to, because with most certifications, you have to do CEUs to keep, continuing ed to kind of keep up with the certification.
Yeah.
Is that the case with this?
I have to make sure I have a certain amount of hours of just the geriatric population. So I'll probably attend a few lectures, but I actually get quite a few continuing education credits just for having the certification.
Perfect.
And I have to retest every 5 years.
Yes.
And it was a pretty difficult test. So.
Now, did you do it all online, or how did that work? Or did you
so
actually
it was
go
a
to...
testing center.
Okay.
And they take your picture, they make sure you have nothing on your person, just to make sure that you're not cheating, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. No cell phones.
Yeah, and it's all computer based, but it took them 6 to 8 weeks to deliver the results to me. So it was very, very scary.
Yeah, it's nerve wracking when you put in that much, time and effort and so forth. But I've actually never heard of the certification. So what's the technical name for it?
It's a certified specialty in gerontological nutrition.
Yes. So is it popular, Eliana, with other, sort of hospital dietitians or?
It's not as popular as some of the other ones, like oncology and diabetes.
Oh, yeah.
But for this particular one, I found would be helpful for this area and Noble Hospital in particular, because our average age is around 65 to 70.
That's good. I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. That doesn't surprise me, but I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm on all these advisory boards at the hospital. I should know that information.
It's something like that. And of course, it's going to change, but that's around the average. So I found that most of the patients I was seeing did have some of the problems that would help with that specialty.
Okay. Well, congratulations on that, because that, I know I've got my own set of certifications and licenses and so forth. And I think, a lot of people just aren't aware of how much work goes into getting the initial certification, but then also keeping up with the certifications.
Yeah,
I mean, I have some of them where, I'm doing 100 hours of, continuing education, and it's hard to do. It's, workshops and trainings and conferences and online and reading books and, doing all that stuff. But it's what keeps the information relevant for us.
It is. And it keeps you up to date.
Keeps us up to date. Absolutely. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to take our half-hour break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about the topic of the day, which is the Mediterranean diet. So this song is in honor of National Joe Day. So we're honoring this March 27th is National Joe Day, Eliana. So if you know anyone named Joe, Joanne, Josephine, any variation of Joe, this is their day. So I wanted to we have Joe Rouse, that's our health director. So we're celebrating, Joe Rouse Day. But we happiness is a thing called Joe is our theme song for him. So I wanted to do something different. This is called Diamond Joe by Sam Bush. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Mediterranean diet.
Well, there is a man you hear about most every place you go. His home is there in Texas, and his name is Diamond Joe. He carries all his money in a diamond-studded jaw, and he never was much bothered by the process of the law. Well, I hired out the Diamond Joe boys. I did offer him my hand, and he gave me a string of horses so old they could not stand. Oh, I like to starve to death, boys. He did mistreat me so that I never saved a dollar in the pay of Diamond Joe. Was corn dodger, and his meat I could not chaw, and he liked to drove me crazy with the wagging of his jaw. Oh, the telling of his stories, I mean to let you know that there never was around her that could lie like Diamond Joe. half pleased to Diamond Joe.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Westfield Bank. For more than 160 years, Westfield Bank has been an important community presence and commercial leader in the Pioneer Valley. With convenient full banking services in Westfield, West Springfield, East Longmeadow, Agawam, Feeding Hills, Springfield, Southwick, as well as Enfield and Granby, Connecticut, visit us on the web at westfieldbank.org. We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Wednesday mornings start off right from 6 to 8 a.m. with Tina Gorman and Wake Up Wednesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from the campus of Westfield State University. This is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:34. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses. It is Wednesday, March 27th. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host. I'm in studio this morning with the chairman of the board, Pete Coles. Good morning again, Pete.
Good morning.
And our guest this morning is Eliana Lakritz. Eliana is a clinical dietitian with Bay State Noble Hospital. Welcome again, Eliana.
Thank you.
Who's newly certified in gerontological nutrition. Do I have that right?
You got it.
All right. Very good. We're excited about that. So, let's get into our topic for the day, which is the Mediterranean diet. And I think this came about because of a discussion that we had the last time you were on the show. I don't remember what the discussion was about, but I do remember that somewhere along the line you mentioned Mediterranean diet. And I said, ooh, and you know, it's interesting. I was at a gathering yesterday. I was telling Pete I was down in Tennessee visiting with my brother. And he gets together every Tuesday morning with a group of sort of newly retirees. They've been doing this, I guess, now for about a year. And the topic of nutrition came up because I think half of them ordered oatmeal. They're all pretty much in their mid 60s, I would say, to early 70s. And they're all getting, very sort of concerned about, heart stuff. They're all in good shape. I mean, they're very active in their community and, good build and so forth. But there's a physician, there's a retired OBGYN in the group, and I think he was the one who brought up the Mediterranean diet, and that kind of stirred a bit of a conversation. And so I told them about today's radio show. Mm-hmm. So they're down in Tennessee, and they're not awake at between 6 and 8 in the morning. However, I said, well, it'll be videoed, and so you can listen later. So what is the Mediterranean diet? Why are people talking about it? What's going on with this? Tell us about it.
So a lot of doctors like to recommend this Mediterranean diet because, and I think this is how it came up before, it has been shown to prevent a lot of chronic diseases and also to help treat some current ones.
Okay.
So, for example, high cholesterol, it's been really helpful to, it's been shown to reduce that bad, quote unquote, bad cholesterol in our bodies, raise the good cholesterol, and in that way help prevent heart disease, as well as cancers, as well as treating diabetes, hypertension, lots of things that a lot of people are struggling with and run in their families. So I think that's why it kind of raised a lot of flags, because it's just been shown to be almost the gold standard of eating to help prevent all of these things from happening. My only issue with the term Mediterranean diet is it sounds like one of your other diets that somebody would put you on, like the keto diet, the paleo diet. So I don't always like to call it the Mediterranean diet. That's just my own qualms.
Well, I think, but we've talked about this on the show before with, I think you and I have talked about it and others have as well, that when you use the term diet, it kind of implies you're going on a diet. So at some point you're going to go off of the diet.
Exactly.
And this is really more of an eating lifestyle.
It is a lifestyle.
They have to kind of name it something else. I think, Mediterranean, nutritional lifestyle or something.
I like to think of it as a food pattern. That's
Okay.
how I like to think of it.
I like that one, Mediterranean food pattern.
I mean, I wouldn't
that.
have to use that if diet wasn't such a negative connotation kind of word.
Right. And I think you're right. I think people who hear the word, and even people who are not, kind of quote overweight, hear the word diet. It's like, well, I don't need to go on a diet, so I don't have to do the Mediterranean diet. But I think you're absolutely right. So
it's a way of eating.
Eating pattern.
Yep.
Okay. So what is it? Why are the docs all excited about this? And why is it helping with cholesterol and all this other stuff? What?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with replacing saturated fats with healthy fats. So your saturated fats are going to be from animal products, so like beef, pork, especially your red meats. It's going to come from butter. It's going to come from high-fat dairy products like ice cream or whole milk, cream, cheese. So the Mediterranean diet, to replace those, would be using more healthy fats. So things like olive oil or canola oil, nuts and seeds, more plant-based foods too. So legumes, plant-based proteins like beans, chickpeas, things like that. That's how they more eat in the Mediterranean countries, and that's where a lot of those benefits are actually shown to be happening.
So is that why this got started in the first place? Was that in the Mediterranean areas that people had like a lower incidence of heart disease? Is that how all this started?
That's my understanding. Okay. Because if you look at their diet compared to the American diet, the diet here in America, it's very focused on protein, and it's not always healthy protein. It's bacon, sausage, kielbasa, hamburgers, rather than fish, chicken, and poultry, those leaner meats. And it's a lot of also refined grains. So you'll see potato chips, French fries, white breads, where we would really focus more on whole grains and starchier vegetables in the Mediterranean world.
Okay.
So I think that's where it started to come into play. Is here we have a higher incidence of chronic disease, obesity, versus over in the Mediterranean area. There's still people that suffer from chronic disease, of course, but the incidence will be lower.
Now, I would think, just based on some of the basics that you've given to us, Eliana, about the generalities of the diet, would this diet also be or this food pattern, would this also be effective like for type 2 diabetes?
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't always call it a Mediterranean diet, but most of the time when I counsel, I steer people in this direction because it's so much healthier for your body to function on this way. Whole grains, for example, they're still going to raise your blood sugar because they do break down into sugar, but there's more fiber. So it does take a little longer to digest that. So you don't have that huge spike in blood sugars that you would have if you were to eat white bread or white rice or, juices, things like that are going to digest very quickly.
Okay.
So it can be better for diabetes, and it also can be helpful for weight loss, which indirectly is helpful for diabetes.
And everything, and heart disease and everything else. I mean,
type 2 diabetes most of the time.
Especially,
and heart disease.
So tell us a little bit about some specifics of the Mediterranean food pattern. What are some things that people? I want to kind of get a little bit away from what they shouldn't eat and more of what they should eat. So what are some of the things that would be beneficial for them to eat?
So general rule of thumb, always the whole grains. Whole grain breads, brown rice. Those are kind of the carbohydrate sources, as well as whole fruits and vegetables. So, instead of making a smoothie, eating the whole plant, eating the whole fruit or vegetable itself to get that fiber. Legumes are a big part of it too. So lentils and kidney beans, black beans, chickpeas, things like that. Hummus, which is just ground chickpeas with some tahini and lemon juice.
What is tahini? I am always fascinated with some what exactly is hummus? I mean, now they're even doing commercials for it, but I'm like, what is it? So it's ground chickpeas.
You could make it yourself if you wanted to. It's just ground up chickpeas. Tahini is sesame paste.
Sesame paste.
Yeah.
So do you use just like a little bit of it, or do you use a lot of it, or
a little goes a long way?
How does it cut? Like, where do you get tahini?
So it'll be a little more expensive if you do get it at the store, like Big Y or Stop and Shop. It probably would be more, but Trader Joe's has it for a lot more
Asian
affordable.
Grocery stores, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even really necessarily need to use it to make hummus. I've made it without. You could just
do with sesame oil.
I think you need the creaminess of the tahini paste.
But is it? How does it come? Like if I went to Big Y, where am I looking for this, and what am I looking for? I always need to,
That's
am
a
I
good
looking
question.
for like a jar, or is it a container? Or?
Yeah, I think most of it comes in a jar, and you usually would find it near the peanut butters because it it looks like a paste with the oil kind of separated on top. Like
so you have
would
to stir it up first.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So
what color is it?
It looks like peanut butter, but a little bit lighter.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Good questions.
If you're adventurous, you can make it at home.
Well, I know
I'm
that's
reading recipes right now.
on a hummus.
Tahini.
You can make the tahini at home.
You toast sesame seeds, and then you grind them up with olive oil.
Okay.
To make a paste.
Okay.
So I mean, you're going to get some healthy fats from that.
Okay.
And that's where they come from when you're eating hummus.
So when you eat hummus, you make hummus, right? Is that what you said?
Yep.
Okay. So what do you so chickpeas don't have too much of a flavor, do they? Do they?
No, not
I mean, do
too
you
much.
add stuff to it?
Cumin is a really good, actually.
Oh, we talked about spices. So
Yeah.
cumin is a good spice.
Yep.
to
So
use
you would
with
add
it.
cumin to it typically. That's also how you make falafel.
How you make what?
Falafel.
What is falafel?
It's basically fried chickpeas.
Okay.
You would make kind of like you're making hummus, grind up the chickpeas, but you don't use the tahini paste because that makes it more creamy. You would still use cumin, parsley, and then you form them into balls, and then you could either fry them or bake them.
I saw somebody that made them into waffles.
Yeah,
Really?
falafel waffles.
Falafel waffles.
I like that.
I have never heard it. But if you made them, so it sounds almost like a meatball, but you're not using meat. You're using chickpea. So what is it? It sounds like chickpeas are pretty special. So this is something we should.
Yeah.
So I was at my brother's over the weekend, and he throws chickpeas into his salad, and they asked me that. They said, "Do you like?" And I said, "Well, if you put it in a salad other than raw onions, I'll pretty much eat anything in a salad because I love raw vegetables." So we had chickpeas thrown in there, and it was good.
Yeah. So as a rule of thumb, maybe using chickpeas as a meatless Monday alternative kind of thing. So if you're going to make a salad, maybe instead of throwing a steak on it or some kind of other high fat like bacon bits, things like that, throw in some chickpeas. And what you've done there is you've replaced a lot of those unhealthy saturated fats from meat, and you replaced it with heart healthy fats from chickpeas.
I love that.
Yeah. So it does have some of the heart healthy fats, and it also has fiber. So, I mean, it's very good for digestion. It's very good for your cholesterol level. So it has multiple benefits. So not only are you cutting down on the saturated fat, which can raise your cholesterol, but you're also getting all the other benefits that come with it.
Right.
So it's a lot of killing two birds with one stone.
I love that. Okay. All right. It's 7:45. So everyone, you can digest that a little bit. We're going to take literally, or we're going to take our final break. I know I'm on a kick now. I'm going to try making some hummus at home. I think that would be really kind of cool. All right. We're going to take our 7:45 quarter hour break. This is a Broken Hearted Melody by Sarah Vaughan. You'll recognize this song. This is an old one.
Just be taunting me. We a tender love, oh, a broken-hearted melody. Won't you bring him back to me? Sing to him until he yearns, for when he returns, no more will he be a broken-hearted melody.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Barnes and Noble College Bookstore in the Ely Campus Center, offering Westfield State t-shirts, sweatshirts, and gift merchandise, all of your academic needs, and offering textbook materials in new, used, ebook, and rental formats. Available at the bookstore on campus or online at westfieldstate.bncollege.com.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
It's Tuesday morning from 6 till 8. Wow, it's Tuesday with Bob Plass.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:49. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host. It's Wednesday, March 27th. I'm in studio this morning with the chairman of the board, producer Pete Coles. Good morning again, Pete.
Good morning.
And our special guest this morning is Eliana Lakritz. She is the clinical dietitian with Bay State Noble Hospital. Welcome again, Eliana.
Thank you.
And we're talking about the Mediterranean diet. So she has me all excited about hummus. And I'm going to dig up a hummus recipe. I'm going online to get a hummus recipe to make that. So, one of the things that you were talking about before, Eliana, with sort of the typical American diet is our focus on protein. So let's go back to that. So on the Mediterranean food pattern, what are some sources of protein? What are some better options for us?
That's a good question. So you're always going to want to steer in the direction of leaner proteins. So poultry is a big one, turkey and chicken. I think a lot of people forget you can have turkey outside of
turkey. Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yep. Fish is a big one. I believe you want to have it at least twice a week.
Okay.
Salmon or, one of the white fishes. Tuna is actually a really good one too.
Yeah.
So it's an easy one. I think I like to use that one because people can just grab it on the go and eat it in those little pouches or something like that. And then plant-based proteins are a big one as well.
Now, what are plant-based proteins? Because I think most people, myself included, when I think protein, I think meat, chicken, fish. That's it. So what's a plant-based protein? Where can I get protein outside of the meat, chicken, fish thing?
Yep. So they'll be kind of similar to the ones we talked about, the legumes, the beans, but also nuts and seeds. Don't forget that those are also really good sources of both healthy fats as well as proteins.
Now, are there certain? We had this discussion yesterday with the brownie group that the place they meet was the restaurant is called Brownies, but we had a discussion about nuts because my brother has had some heart issues and so is being very conscious about reading labels, and he said, I used to eat peanuts like crazy. He said, well, I got rid of the salted peanuts several years ago, but he said, I didn't realize, how much fat there are in peanuts. So he said, I always thought, these are so good for me. Well, of course, everything in quantity, but are there certain nuts that are better for people than other nuts
Yeah, that's a good question. So almonds and walnuts are going to be highest in your omega-3 fatty acids, which are helpful for raising your good cholesterol, quote unquote.
So those are good things.
Yep.
Those are good nuts. Okay.
But the variety is good too.
Okay.
So adding pistachios or even peanuts, yes, they are high in fats, but those aren't the saturated fats that are what they would say was heart unhealthy.
Yes.
Those are the unsaturated fats, the polyunsaturated fats that are actually heart healthy.
Okay.
So yes, the label, you're going to see a high total fat content, but most of the fat there is going to come from the healthy fat. So, the trick is just a portion control, so you're not eating out of the container. You just need about a palmful as a perspective as one serving. So putting it on top of your yogurt in the morning or your oatmeal in the morning, or as a snack with some other maybe a fruit will help to get you those healthy fats without going overboard on calories.
Yep. Yeah. And I think the other thing, as I said to my brother, is when you're eating the nuts, eat them one at a time and not by the handful. Well, you know, we have a tendency to do that. It's like, oh, I have a handful of peanuts and you're popping, 5 or 6 in your mouth at a time, as opposed to, I put them in a little dish. I have them at my office because but you know what I do? And I just think that this has helped me. And my brother said, that's really a good suggestion. When I go to work, I have all my little Tupperware containers and they are small. Yep. So I'll put, like a half a container of nuts. So that's my, so it's not like I have the whole jar and I keep just digging in there because, it part of it is portion control. Yep. And it's the same. So I've got, my cottage cheese and I take a banana and I slice that up and I've got, so all these, my cut up veggies, and stuff like that. I graze a lot during the day. I put in a really long day and I found that works better for me than sort of the 3 bigger meals. I'm small and I'm so full at the end and then I just feel crummy. So, but especially in the afternoon, if I have, a few things from my little container at 12 and then maybe at 1 and at 2:30 and, whatever. Yeah. So,
I mean, it's going to work for you. Somebody else might want the 3 meals a day and that's particularly fine.
Yep.
But I think that does also make you more mindful of what you're eating and how much of it you're eating instead of just like you said, eating by the handful.
Yeah. Eating out of the jar.
That's definitely a good idea for everyone to do.
And so things like beans, we can get protein through beans.
Yep. People forget about that.
Yeah, I know. And I'm thinking some dishes, I'm thinking chili, that comes to mind, of course, but soups.
Yep. So like a minestrone soup, you're going to get your vegetables, you're going to get your beans in there.
Yeah.
You could put them on salads, you could put them in wraps, you could put them
I never thought about putting them in a wrap.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, like a black bean wrap. Yep.
I never thought about that. Yeah. What else would you put in that?
You can really consider it to be wherever you would put chicken or turkey or
so you could do like lettuce, tomato, like shredded up lettuce or cut up lettuce and tomato and maybe some cucumbers and things and some beans and just throw it into
and there's your protein.
Yeah.
But I think it's also important to understand that this is, again, a pattern. So just by using olive oil in your cooking and then you still have the regular typical Western diet, that's not going to give you the benefits just because you had olive oil occasionally.
Right.
This is an overall pattern of way of eating, and that's where all the benefits come from, rather than just the single components. And I was going to bring up the fact that red wine in moderation, 1 to 2 glasses a day, is also part of the Mediterranean diet pattern. But that doesn't mean that if you drink occasional red wine and you eat mostly white carbs and red meat,
that you're doing anything for your heart.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think the other thing too is that anytime you start changing your eating patterns and habits, I think it has to be, you have to sort of gradually introduce some things because if you go from a completely Western diet, especially if you're older, this diet that you've been on for the last 75 years and try to change it overnight, you're just going to fail miserably. You're just
you need to transition into anything.
Exactly.
Don't you?
So so kind of start introducing some of these ideas that Eliana's talked about today. And hey, this is pretty good. And the idea being that you'll start to get away from some of those other things that are not as healthy for you, but to sort of transition this in.
Definitely. Maybe start by just cutting down your red meat to once a week.
Okay.
Or incorporating, if nothing else, just do a meatless day.
Yeah.
Or add half a plate of vegetables in if you really like vegetables to begin with. Or start by having more whole grains. It depends and work on where you are now and incorporate one of these components to start. And then eventually, once that becomes a habit, you can add an additional one. So it's slow.
Okay, now in closing, I want to bring up a topic that got brought up yesterday at breakfast. So while we were talking about diets and Mediterranean and heart healthy and stuff like that, the whole subject of eggs got brought up.
Yep.
So what is a dietitian's stand on eggs? Are they good? Are they not? Do you what give us your personal philosophy on eggs?
I think eggs are great.
There you go.
Personally, I think if you were to limit yourself to egg whites in the morning with, a banana or something like that, you're going to feel hungry in an hour.
Yeah.
The benefit of the egg yolk is it provides a lot of healthy fats. It has some saturated fat in it, sure, some cholesterol, But they're actually finding that the cholesterol in foods isn't really the culprit for raising blood cholesterol. It's that saturated fat, and eggs are only like 2 to 3 grams per egg. Okay. So have the whole egg. You'll feel fuller for longer. It's really not that, debilitating as far as raising cholesterol levels. It's usually the other stuff that.
Now, if you were to recommend, this is for my brother, because he wanted me to throw this one out to you. So how many eggs per week would be healthy for someone with atherosclerosis, let's say?
So, I think, as not a cop-out, but it depends on how much saturated fat you're getting in your diet to begin with.
Okay.
So if you're a really heavy animal fat eater, maybe cutting down on the eggs is a small place to start. But if you're a vegetarian and you're not really getting a lot of saturated fats, you have a little more wiggle room there.
Okay.
I think the Mediterranean diet recommends about 4 times per week to have eggs. So that could be, 2 eggs in the morning, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. But I also think there's a place for variety.
Yes,
you want to try to get some variety in there as well, and not have the same thing every day.
No. And I think that's his thing, and he's really approaching this very sensibly, really trying to kind of map it all out. And he said, well, I like oatmeal. I don't want to eat oatmeal 7 days a week. He loves eggs, but he said, but he's never eaten eggs 7 days a week either. But it's like, am I reduced to like 1 egg once a week? And I said, I doubt it. I think you can kind of do a little bit more than that. Yeah.
And play around with it too. You could add some vegetables and to make a veggie omelet to get an extra serving of vegetables in there. But make sure that you're not doing every day like a scrambled egg with cream in it and tons of cheese. Right. So it depends on how you make it as well.
Yeah, he's kind of getting away from the cheese altogether. But, I said the same thing. I said, I think if you did a couple scrambled eggs in olive oil with, because that's what we do. My husband and I will cut up some zucchini, some green pepper, some onion if you want to saute some onion and throw those in your eggs, and it's really good. So
they've been so demonized over the past few decades, and I get this question every day.
I bet you do
about the eggs.
I bet you do. He was, he said there are a lot of things I can give up that won't bother me. I can give up pizza, I can give up other people. He goes, like eggs. He said, I love my eggs. And I said to him, well, I will. And he said, when they all found out you were going to be on, well, ask her. I said, I will ask. All right. Eliana Lakritz, clinical dietitian from Bay State Noble Hospital. Thank you so much for coming in. I hope we'll have you back again in a month or two. That's great. We'll come up with a different topic.
Great.
Thank you for giving us some information about Mediterranean food patterns. That's what we're calling it now. All right. It is 8 o'clock. You're very welcome. Rock On. Westfield is on with Harry Rock coming up next. Stay tuned.
I rode my bicycle past your window last night. I roller skated to your door at daylight. It almost seems like you're avoiding me. I'm okay alone, but you got something I need. Well, I got a brand new pair of roller skates. You got a brand new key. I think that we should get together and try them out, you see.
support for the community.